Bookies New and Used Books is a supporter of WXAV 88.3 FM and WXAV.com. Located at 10324 Southwestern Avenue in Chicago, Bookies offers a selection of new and used books with orders available for books not currently in stock. For more information, visit their website at bookiesbookstores.com.
Support for WXAV 88.3 is being provided by Northwest Community Credit Union, located on campus inside the Graham School of Management. The credit union provides its members with a variety of financial products and services to help them achieve their financial goals. Members can access services and bank on NWCCU's mobile app. For more information, visit their website at nwccu.com or call them at 1-800-2BELONG.
This is a WXAV 773 Sounds podcast, introducing you to the best local bands in the Chicagoland area.
Hi, this is Peter Creighton with 773 Sounds, and we have another great interview lined up. I'm really excited about this one. This artist is a multi-instrumental, experimental pop music that waves in R&B and soul music into his music, and I've been a fan of his for a number of years. This is Justice Hill. Justice, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Peter. Thank you.
So let's kind of go back a little bit to the beginning. How did you discover music? How did you get into recording?
Well, I was kind of raised alongside music. You know, my dad was a DJ back in college, and I started singing just from the moment I could speak. And I just grew from there naturally, but it was always kind of a love from a distance. Like I sang in choirs and stuff, but I never thought I was going to be a musician, per se. Like that was never really an option. And then along the way, I kind of just started teaching myself piano, very seriously around 16 years old to ask someone out at school, just trying to be cool, learn this little pop song. And I learned it an hour. I was like, whoa, this was really fast. So then I just started looking at YouTube videos of people playing Billy Joel songs, Beatles songs. And by the end of the weekend, I'd learned 10 to 15 songs. And I was and it just felt so good to me and just so natural that I just really went with it. And it was I'm going to audition for music school. I want to be a musician. And it changed my whole life for it. And it just kind of became, it was this really interesting experience that my friend pointed out to me recently of how unlike a lot of my friends who are musicians who are raised on these iconic albums and all these really tentpole things, I was introduced to them while I was learning. I was introduced to all of that at 16 and on.
Mm-hmm.
As I was just discovering playing music. So I got really into Pink Floyd right as I was learning the scales and piano when I was 17 years old. And it's kind of molded how I've viewed my writing music in general.
That's really interesting because you definitely always hear the story when you talk to musicians where it's I first heard the Beatles and that made me want to then become a musician. Whereas it's almost like this parallel track for you where it's I'm learning this, I'm discovering, oh, well, Pink Floyd did this or Billy Joel did that, and then you're almost replicating it. What was that like? What was that experience where it's you're doing it parallel? Did it ever get overwhelming? Was it exciting? What was the emotional impact with that?
It was incredibly overwhelming. I didn't know who. Somehow got into Berklee College of Music, and my first day there, I had to be told who Miles Davis was.
Oh wow!
So it's it felt very much like I was coming from behind, it felt very underdog type deal. I was I realized then at 18, I was if I want to be at the level of where I want to be at, which is kind of now, it's going to take practicing 8-12 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 5-6 years. And so I just did it.
So I first heard about you a few years ago during COVID. You were on a compilation disc called Situation Chicago that really helped support independent local venues and everything. It was really cool. And seeing where you were then and how you've evolved with your new album, which is called Cooler by the Lake, that really it just dropped earlier this year. Can you talk to me about how you've grown as a musician? How have you grown over the years with how you approach your writing, both melody and also lyrics as well?
Oh, thanks. Well, I'd say during COVID, right, I had so much time, but very little influence. It felt like that first album I made was very much about being stuck inside. And it was very like, I was, once I released my first song and then that was on the compilation record, I realized I had an opportunity to like get all these ideas that I'd been in my head, all my demos I've been recording for maybe 6 or 7 years to finally like get them done, get an album out there and really start a career. And so once I released that, I spent the next 4 years like trying to, it was really nice to be able to slow down, have a little bit of work out there. And then and I just thought to myself, like, I wanted to make a full concept. I wanted to take all these, and I wanted to make something that felt more like showing my true identity as like who I am as a person. And so much of my identity comes from being from the West Coast of Michigan and like spending my time between here and Chicago or there in Chicago. And so I just wanted to create an album that helped summarize that and help show how much I rely on the lakes to be relaxing, and it's just a peaceful park. And I think the people of the city really rely on it quite a bit as like a foundational, like it's like an identity. It's a part of our identity, really, as a city, right? So make an album about something else besides my bedroom, really.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things too, like even just with the title, like Cooler by the Lake, that is such a Chicago phrase that
Yeah.
it grabbed my ears where it's like, oh, that's really clever. I like that. Now, when you were writing this album, what did you start off with first? Did you focus more on melody or do you go with lyrics first?
So I started with, when I started the album, I initially started with a few riffs. Like I had a couple, I'd like 2 lines. I had it's cooler by the lake, and I had the hook to think you hate me figured out. Like, and that one I wrote just some piano. Like, so there's sometimes, like, especially if it's a song of mine that has, it's like a boom, 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 boom. Like I write that phrase and then try to write a lyric for it immediately. And that like locks in that section. And then I think of them kind of like building like a Lego set or like building out a story, right? So I've created connecting parts and I try not to force any, one big rule of mine with my band is I try to make sure that we have time to think about what we need to write.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about like, I kind of come up with the ideas, what I want it to sound like well before I like put pen to paper. Well, like, or like with Comeback, just like specifically, I knew I wanted a song that, I wanted to have a 3-chord structure that repeats, and I wanted to feel, like I wanted to be pulsating. I wanted like the same line to repeat over and over, but I wanted it to still be simple. And like there's all these like rules I have to have for it, and then but that way when I know, it makes it much clearer when I've gotten to the point of which I think the song is written, where I'm like, oh, I've achieved these things that I want out of this. And it's easier for myself to like tick that off the box. And then after that, I built out, we had a giant chalkboard, basically, with every song, every potential part I would put into it, every instrumentation. I just went through it one check by check until everything was done and tracked.
Oh, that's awesome. I really like that approach. It's almost like you had like the map in your head and you just had to put pen to paper, if you will.
Exactly.
I am with Justice Hill here on 773 Sounds. Now, Justice, you got a couple of gigs coming up. Where can people go and check you out live?
Well, we got a couple good gigs going up. I think pretty soon, right after this airs on the 28th of October, we're playing Fulton Street Art Collective, opening up for this wonderful Sade cover band, with which I'm a huge fan of. The following week, we're playing The Hideout, opening up for the Sophs, on November 3rd. And then our big show of the year is going to be at the Empty Bottle, December 18th. I'm going to be wearing a Santa costume. I got a lot of surprises. We got a lot of bits going. It's Billy Joel Jr.'s album release show, full band, and we're going to be going crazy. So go to any of the prospective websites and check those out. Hope to see you there.
Awesome. Now, do you have any websites or socials where people can go and check you out and follow you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Justice Hill. And besides that, I've just Linktree / Justice Hill. Just wherever you find me. Also justicehill.bandcamp.com if you want to purchase the album or support me in any way, it would be fantastic.
The new album is really good. I really enjoyed it when I listened to it. And for me, like, that opening track is so crucial because that's what grabs the listener's attention. And right where you started, it's a killer jam. Can you kind of walk me through like your approach of writing that track?
Yeah, so that song was a very delicate process of which I wrote. That was the second thing I recorded for the album, which is started with, I recorded the like reverse guitar sounds in the beginning of those chords. And I made that bass synth while I was traveling the country right after I released my first album. So I got back after the fact we got vaccinated. I took my car and I drove to Vermont, and I spent a few weeks with people I hadn't seen in a long time. And it was I realized that I came up with the album name like on the drive. Like I knew exactly. I was like, I'm doing this. And this the line, "Don't move to Chicago if you hate the cold," was like the start of it. And so I wrote the opening lyrics, but it took me a couple months after that to have. I wrote the melody, but I didn't know what the line was going to be until about maybe a year after that. That I was just back in my room working on on my next album, and I was like, "You're back where you started," and it just came to me. I was like, "There it is."
Now, you've been on the local scene for a number of years now. From your perspective, what's the Chicago local scene like? What gets you excited when you go and you play with other bands and everything?
The local scene it can be kind of tough. It's tough to kind of get into. I feel like people here, the smaller time you get, the more the people have known each other longer, right? So it feels it's tough to like earn the trust of the community sometimes. It's can be a little intimidating from afar, but now that I've been a part of it for this long, especially after like taking time to really try to help raise money for like during COVID and be a part of just community outreach and all sorts of different areas in the city, it's like just such a place of honor in my heart. Like you'd be surprised, like the words of encouragement from people you wouldn't really expect. Like people pay attention, and people really love and really appreciate art and music here in a way that is, because it's my girlfriend always is afraid to mention music around me because I oftentimes am like, I kind of hate music. Like it's hard to stay excited about an industry that feels like every day is being taken over. It's just a way to sell things, and sell products, and it makes it feel like people don't want to be inspired or to feel anything when they hear stuff. And then, there's moments like this where I hear someone completely hear what I'm saying and appreciate that, and it's like, oh no, technology has made it seem like people don't care about music, but people do, and this city very much does. I'm very, very proud to be part of it.
Yeah, I think you brought up a really good point. This tool of technology that we were always told was going to unite us and build all this community and everything. It's just made everything siloed and cold.
Yeah.
And, one thing that I really love about that local community is the fact that it's people there. It's people that have a shared life experience, singing about what's going on. It's relatable. It's people with calluses on their hands that are going out there because they love to do it. It's not, I need to get 1 million streams on Spotify or things like that. It's the passion of it. So, we're a college radio station. And what would you say to the listener that they want to get into the local scene, but they're scared to? It can be overwhelming trying to find out what it is. And not only that, it's the fear of the unknown. How would you encourage that person to say, no, take that risk, go to that local show?
Yeah, go to a local show, go to the open mic. I don't necessarily get up there, but talk to people that do. Start with just trying to make a couple friends first. And then, you don't got to necessarily put yourself in the spotlight right away, or like push yourself out of your comfort zone. You can slowly dip your toe into the scene and try to see who's like, what group of people are making you laugh. Go say hi. People are very friendly here. You'd be surprised. Like there's a bunch of like that. Like I stopped by the Coles Jam a couple months ago, and I didn't recognize a single person there. I'm like, wow, there's a whole new generation of upcoming local musicians all meeting each other up, just worried about what they're gonna do in music here. It's nice to see. It's definitely the open mic scene is the way to it's how I met people. You know, all my friends, my bandmates, we all met at Most Tavern back over in Milwaukee back in the day.
Justice Hill, the new album is called Cooler by the Lake. You can check it out on Bandcamp. And again, you can follow Justice Hill on Instagram. Just search Justice Hill. Justice, thank you so much.
Peter, thank you so much for having me. You have a great day.
Thank you for listening to this WXAV 773 Sounds podcast. For more information on 773 Sounds, please visit our website, wxav.com.